If you are watching this today, pause for a moment and ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you felt truly safe in your marriage? Not just safe because there was no argument or no visible problem, but safe enough to be fully yourself, to speak without fear, to rest without guilt, to trust that your heart is being handled with care. Because trust in marriage is not something that suddenly disappears overnight. It is built or broken quietly, day by day, through small actions that often seem insignificant in the moment. And this video is for every wife who loves deeply, but sometimes wonders whether her marriage still feels like a partnership or more like emotional guessing. And this story begins with a woman just like you. Let's call her Emily, a committed wife, responsible, caring, emotionally aware, someone who believed trust meant loyalty and honesty alone, until she realized that even though there was no cheating, no shouting, no betrayal, something still felt fragile. Conversations felt cautious, misunderstandings lingered longer than they should, and emotional closeness felt inconsistent. Emily noticed that trust wasn't missing because of something dramatic. It was weakening because of what wasn't happening daily. The small reassurances, the emotional presence, the feeling of being understood. And many marriages experience this without ever naming it, because trust is not just about fidelity, it is about emotional reliability. It is about knowing that when you speak, you will be heard. When you are vulnerable, you will not be dismissed. When you are tired, you will not be judged. Psychology shows us that trust is built through predictability and emotional safety. When a husband feels that his wife is emotionally consistent, calm, respectful, and clear, he relaxes. And when a wife feels that her husband is emotionally responsive, attentive, and considerate, she softens. But when daily actions create confusion, defensiveness, or emotional withdrawal, trust slowly erodes without either partner realizing why. One of the most powerful daily actions that builds trust is emotional consistency, showing up as the same emotionally regulated person, rather than swinging between silence and emotional overload. When a husband does not have to guess which version of you he will meet, he feels safer opening up. Another daily action is speaking with clarity instead of testing. Many wives unknowingly test their husbands by expecting them to read their minds, by saying it's fine when it's not, by withdrawing instead of expressing. But trust grows when communication is direct, gentle, and honest, when you say what you feel without blaming, without exaggerating, without emotional games. Another daily habit that builds trust is respecting emotional boundaries, not interrogating, not demanding instant responses, not pushing for conversations when emotions are high, because trust requires space as much as it requires closeness. A man opens up more when he does not feel trapped or cornered. Another subtle but powerful action is appreciation, not flattery, but genuine acknowledgement, thanking him for small things, recognizing effort instead of focusing only on what is missing. Appreciation tells the nervous system, I am safe here, and safety is the foundation of trust. Another daily behavior that strengthens trust is self-regulation, learning to calm yourself before reacting, learning to pause before responding, learning to separate your emotions from your worth. Because when a wife reacts from overwhelm, criticism, or emotional flooding, the husband's instinct is often to shut down, not because he doesn't care, but because his nervous system feels attacked. And when reactions soften, trust deepens. Emily began noticing how often her tone carried frustration even when her words were calm, how often she brought up old issues during new conversations, how often she sought reassurance in ways that sounded like criticism. And when she shifted these patterns, slowly, not perfectly, but intentionally, something changed. Trust didn't suddenly appear, it grew quietly. Another daily action that builds trust is reliability, doing what you say you will do, emotionally and practically, following through on promises, keeping private matters private, not venting marital frustrations to everyone else, because trust is fragile when a husband feels exposed or misunderstood outside the marriage. Another powerful habit is emotional curiosity, asking instead of assuming, listening without preparing a defense, allowing him to be different from you without making it wrong. Curiosity communicates respect, and respect builds trust faster than control ever will. Another overlooked daily action is self-respect. When a wife honors her own boundaries, her rest, her values, she models emotional health. And emotionally healthy people create safer relationships. When you stop over-giving, over-explaining, and over-sacrificing, the dynamic shifts from dependency to partnership, and trust thrives in balance, not in emotional exhaustion. Another key behavior is choosing repair over being right. When misunderstandings happen, and they will, trust grows when repair is prioritized, when apologies are offered without excuses, when responsibility is taken without defensiveness, when the goal becomes reconnection instead of winning. And here is something many wives need to hear. Trust does not grow when you carry the emotional weight of the marriage alone. It grows when you allow space for your husband to show up in his way, even if it looks different from yours. When you stop micromanaging emotional outcomes, when you stop monitoring every response, when you stop measuring love by constant reassurance, something relaxes in the relationship. Daily actions like maintaining your own emotional fulfillment outside the marriage also protect trust. Friendships, hobbies, growth, purpose, not as an escape, but as emotional nourishment, because a fulfilled woman does not pressure her marriage to meet every unmet need, and pressure suffocates trust. Another daily action is emotional transparency without emotional dumping. Sharing feelings responsibly, not as blame, not as accusation, but as information. This is how I feel, rather than this is what you did wrong. This invites collaboration instead of defensiveness. Emily learned that trust wasn't built by asking, "Do you love me?" repeatedly, but by creating an environment where love felt easy to express, predictable, and safe. And this is where healing begins, understanding that trust is not something you demand, it is something you cultivate day by day through patience, consistency, and emotional maturity. And if you were listening to this and thinking, "I do all of this and still feel unsure," remember that trust is a two-way process. Your role is to show up with integrity, clarity, and self-respect, not to control the outcome. You can influence the emotional climate without forcing change. You can create safety without losing yourself, and you can strengthen trust without pleading, begging, or shrinking. And here is the most important truth. Building trust with your husband does not require perfection. It requires presence. It requires intention. It requires daily choices to respond with calm instead of chaos, clarity instead of confusion, respect instead of resentment. And even if your marriage feels fragile right now, trust can be rebuilt when small actions are repeated consistently. Because trust is not built in grand gestures. It is built in how you speak when you're tired, how you listen when you're hurt, how you pause when you're triggered, how you care for yourself when things feel uncertain. And if this message resonates with you, know that you are not behind. You are becoming aware, and awareness is where change begins. Share this video with a woman who may be quietly trying to hold her marriage together. Leave a comment about which daily action you want to practice first, and subscribe for more guidance that helps you build a strong marriage without losing your emotional strength. Because love lasts longer when trust is built gently, daily, and intentionally.